Good evening, everyone. You are in the spotlight with Brian Gardner for this Thursday, May the 18th, 2017. Good to have you all here for our second of two shows this week. As always, to get started, let me remind you all the ways in which you can interact and contribute to the show. Have your voice heard by emailing us at itspotlight411@gmail.com. You can also follow us and tweet us at itspotlight411. Remember to use that hashtag itspotlight411 for anything you tweet regarding the show. And, of course, you can find us on Facebook. Just search for In the Spotlight 411 and make sure you like our page once you're on it. Okay. Wow, that's not working. That's not good either. Okay, so apparently we're lagging. Yeah, we're lagging. Okay, so that's not going to bode well for when Mike gets on the air. You're distracting me too, by the way.
I try to figure that as a distraction.
Yeah, the wife's here, distracting me. This time I'm not being hit in the head or any other violent crimes. Okay, where's the link? Okay, so as we wait for my co-host to come out, let me all share with you the lay of the land here tonight. We have NBA, we have playoffs, we have draft lottery discussion, we have on the entertainment side, box office beat, TV highlights, and of course, as I mentioned a couple days ago, which is why we're doing this all on Thursday, we are doing TV Upfront presentation reaction as well tonight. And what? Yeah, I know I have a message. Thank you. It's from Mike. Thank you. I have a secretary tonight, apparently. As you all know, we switched things up tonight to do the TV Upfront stuff tonight, so we can get it all in. So that's why we didn't do this stuff on Tuesday. We're doing it on Thursday. So that's among the things we're going to do here tonight is that. So TV Upfront presentation. So all of that will be coming up tonight. I was going to do a little baseball tonight, but I backed off on it because the story I was going to talk about I just decided to back off on. So we'll leave that for another date. We got too many other things to do. So why bother doing things that we can put off? So that's exactly what we're going to do. So we'll keep the sports stuff, just the NBA stuff tonight. And then we'll leave it at that and then jump into the entertainment and all that kind of stuff. All right. Now, oh, there he is. Mike's in the spotlight. Oh, wait, he's not in frame. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, somebody lost half their hair. Yes, Ash, you got a haircut. That usually means when you got a haircut. Did you get a haircut?
No.
Oh, then why did it look like you did? Oh, that was wow. That was pretty.
Brian, pay attention.
I'm trying. Thank you.
Dumbass.
I'm not a dumbass. I really thought you got a haircut. I just epically failed.
No, I cannot say I got a haircut. What I can say is that I am utterly shocked that you're on before 10 o'clock.
And here's the thing. We would have been on the air 15 minutes earlier because it went through, but I got a phone call and I had to be on the phone for 15 minutes. So we would have actually been on. I feel like we need a violin. That would have been a better sound effect.
I don't have a tiny violin.
When do you actually buy tiny violins anyway?
Probably a prop store.
That's a good idea. I didn't expect such a Amazon. Yeah, I guess I didn't expect to have such good answers. I thought those things were kind of rare. All right. Enough. My wife's trying to contribute to the discussion. She's not on the air. I don't know why she's doing that.
She called you lazy, so that's a start.
That happens.
Better to be heard than seen.
Yeah, that. Okay, so all right. So I mentioned what we're going to be doing tonight. Now, before we get going here, next week I mentioned that we weren't doing any shows on Tuesday, and we're not. That's not happening. So I have to make a decision here because I feel like we need to do a show next week, at least one, because we're going to be off the air for a week and a half, and otherwise we'll just back up on stuff. So I figured, obviously that means probably doing a daytime show either Monday or Wednesday because it's too hard to do a nighttime show every day. So it ends up coming up which day would be the better day to do the show, Monday or Wednesday. So I've decided to do it Monday. That because my wife won't be around to distract me. But yes.
I consider myself a good distraction.
Yes, you are a distraction. I don't I'm having a conversation off the air, so my apologies. But yeah, we'll be doing a daytime show on Monday. Now, the time probably gonna do. It's probably gonna be a very quick show. So just kind of like when we used to do our football Fridays, where they just kind of an hour or so when you get off the air. So probably around, I would say around 2:30 ish will be the time we set up for that. So 2:30 p.m. Eastern time Monday will be when we do. Now keep an eye out on Facebook and Twitter because it's always a chance that we move that around. But I'm thinking 2:30 p.m. Eastern, maybe 2:30 somewhere in there. But keep an eye on Facebook and Twitter information.
It's gonna be 3:30, 4 o'clock.
It kind of can't be, but okay.
Yep.
But all right. So just bear with me on that. But again, probably 2:30, more likely 2:30 p.m. Eastern time on Monday will be the show time. If there's a cancellation or delay or something, I'll let you know by Facebook or Twitter. So keep an eye out for our Facebook and Twitter feeds to make sure you get the right information and all that good stuff. So we will be doing a show again. It'll just be daytime. If we do for some reason have to cancel it on Monday, we'll be doing it on Wednesday. So just but it should be Monday. So there you go. And then after that, we're off the air until June 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. Thank you. June 6th, as my apparent secretary decides to tell me. Yeah, June 6th. So there you go. I feel like changing it just to prove that you're not right about everything. But yeah, June 6th will be the day we come back. And then we'll be back on a normal schedule for June. And then we're going to cut down. And I'll explain more about that afterwards, after we get through the next month or so. All right. Okay, so everything's posted now, and we're ready to go. So let's get going here. As I said, we're going to sports-wise, we're going to jump right in. We're going to be doing some NBA tonight. First of all, I want to talk about the draft lottery because that took place on Tuesday. We already talked about it a little bit on Tuesday. We already talked about it a little bit on Tuesday, and we all know this by now that the Celtics were the number one. The Celtics got the number one pick. The Lakers will go second. And third will be the Sixers. Now, the Celtics got this by trade with the Nets. I think the Sixers got their third spot by trade as well. Now, look, how often is it that a playoff team, let alone a team that's in the Eastern Conference Finals, no less, how often do you get a team like that as number one? How often does a team like that get the number one pick? It's not very often. In fact, I think it's the first time in the modern era that you've had this situation. Look, what we talked about this on Tuesday. There's always the possibility they trade the pick, or they see somebody in the draft they really like, and that becomes number one pick. And this is a situation where the presumptive number one picks. I'm blanking on his name because I've heard his father more. Than I heard him, Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball, everybody thought was going to be the number one pick. Well, he might not be the number one pick because there's no need for the Celtics to go get him. They might go with somebody completely random at the number one pick and drop Ball down to the Lakers. So might not be as predictable as you think. When you get a team like the Celtics at number one, it's not rather than a team like the Lakers or the Sixers who need. What are you doing?
Checking to see if my nails are dry.
Oh, God.
Would you like to see?
No. If you get a team like the Celtics at the top who are just looking to fill needs, all right, they have stars. They're in a good spot. They're obviously a playoff team. You're looking for filling needs, filling gaps to become a better team. And so, they might go with somebody completely out of the box. You might not go with the presumptive number one pick that would have gone to a bad team. So how this impacts things is going to be interesting. Now, you add to that, you got, and I mentioned Lonzo Ball because that's the one everybody's going to be paying attention to because of his father and everything else. According to reports, he's apparently saying that he might only work out for the Lakers. Now, we've been down this road before. We've seen this in various different sports where either the player or the player's family tries to dictate where that player ends up and causes a whole stir and causes a lot of problems. And it never ends well. Sometimes, I mean, you might get your way, but it just really hurts your professionalism and really gives you a bad rep. So, of course, just by virtue of his father, lately he's getting a bad rap, unfortunately, just by default. But so that's something to look out for too. And if he's already saying that he's only going to work out for the Lakers, then chances are that might be where he ends up going. You know, it's very intelligent to do this when our dog could just eat these.
Yeah, and it's just
Stop. Anyway, so, you know, the likelihood of him going to the Lakers right now, I think, is very, very good. So while you take away the number one spot, you know, he might end up going where he actually wants to go, as opposed to if, like, the Sixers had the number one pick and took him. So it might end up benefiting him that a team like the Celtics is at number one, because I don't think he really wants to go there. It's clear he wants to go to the Lakers. At least that's what his dad probably wants, but it looks like he does too. So, you know, the recipe is in play here for that to happen. So we'll have to see if again, with the Celtics being at number one, you might get a very odd number one pick as opposed to what you would have gotten given the circumstances. So we'll see. Now, we know who's got the top three picks. I'm trying to pull up the picks in order here because I want to see. I just want to do the lottery and see what really? Really right now? Thank you. Okay, nice cameo. Yes, appreciate it. Yes, you are. Yes. Okay, so we got the Celtics, the Lakers, and the Sixers as the top three. Phoenix falls in at 4. Kings at 5 due to a trade with the Sixers. So the Kings and the Sixers obviously traded spots. Magic at 6. Timberwolves at 7. Knicks at 8. Mavericks at 9. Kings at 10 by virtue of a trade with the Pelicans. Hornets 11. Pistons 12. Nuggets 13. Heat 14. Trailblazers 15. Bulls at 16, Bucks at 17, Pacers at 18, Hawks at 19, Trailblazers by virtue of a trade from the Grizzlies at 20, Thunder 21, Nets at 22 by trade from the Wizards, Raptors at 23 by trade from the Clippers, the Jazz, Magic at 25 by virtue of a trade from the Raptors. Then the Trailblazers will go again at 26 by virtue of a trade from the Cavs, Nets at 27 because of a trade. The Celtics, the Lakers at 28 because of a trade with the Rockets, then the Spurs at 29, and the Jazz because of a trade from the Warriors at 30. So that's your whole first round. Now, again, the storyline is going to be, do the Celtics keep their pick? If they do, who do we see? Because I don't think it'll be Lonzo Ball. So, again, I think it's just predestined that Lonzo Ball goes to the Lakers. At this point, I think that's going to be the draft storyline. Okay, we got ad playing now, so that's good. There it goes. And that's done. Nice little ad placement there. I should get paid for that. But anyway, so the storyline's going to be, what do the Celtics do with the number one pick and what happens with Lonzo Ball? And right now, with the way it's fallen, I think it's almost preordained for him to go to the Lakers, given how it's fallen. But so there's not much you can say. I know a lot of people think, I know it's by, it was by trade and everything, and it was luck of the draw. I know a lot of people don't feel like the Celtics should be in this position. But you know what? To me, I find it kind of poetic because the Sixers tanked the season. So to some extent, maybe the Lakers might have as well, and they both end up not getting the number one pick. But I think it's nice that finally a team that actually won is number one, and instead of a team that actually put effort out there instead of tanking games is at number one instead of a team that tried to do it on purpose to lose on purpose to get the number one pick. It's kind of refreshing to me. But Mike, your thoughts on the draft lottery?
Oh, Celtics.
Yep.
Now, I'm kind of looking at here. And yes, yes, me. How are you, me? Self anymore. How rude. How rude are you? Anyways, I'm looking at it. Yes, I think it's a little bit of irony that the Celtics, who are an Eastern Conference Finals team, pick in the draft. It kind of reminds me of the San Antonio Spurs, 89-ish,
Yeah.
2000. Well, they weren't terrible. Somehow ended up with the number one pick, who was Tim Duncan. Ta-da! 5 championships later, they're all good, you know?
Yep.
This is kind of like, this could be Boston's moment. Except, I don't think there's anybody in this draft the potential of, like, Tim Duncan did it. I
Agreed.
honestly don't think. There's nobody here in this draft. And the team that is predicted, the Celtics, if they keep the pick, mind you, if they keep the pick, are predicted to take is Markelle Fultz from Washington. Player.
Yeah.
Great player. Not to this kid, but it's not like, hey, this kid's got Tim Duncan upside. No, he's a guard from Washington. Fortunately, and on Boston, they're all right on guards.
Yeah.
Yes, and the Lakers are going to take Lonzo Ball. It's not like they have Lonzo. Lonzo is the greatest. Lonzo is the king. He's the uncrowned king with the $500 sneaker. Oh, he's going to flop so hard there. I feel bad for saying it, but that kid's got swaggy P vibes all over him. Sixers, they tanked. The 76ers tanked so hard and got so far. It doesn't even matter. They're at number 3 to see. But in the end, Philly, you're still going to suck. Suns, they weren't super bad this year. No, yeah, they were. They were pretty bad. They were bad, but 4, Kings at 5, Magic at 6. Thanks to Timberwolves, who, by the way, Wolves made the playoffs this year. Number 7. Conference finalist Boston take the headline for being the number 1 pick. Western Conference playoff team Timberwolves being in the lottery probably would be. It's also predicted they're going to do the first stash and cash. With the fucking lottery pick. All right, honestly, and for the Minnesota, I hope, because exposed at the end by Toronto, who was in turn exposed by the Cavaliers. Maybe going for the French guy in the first round isn't your best move. Unless this Frank Nicolibina name, but whatever. You know what? Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't take French anymore. If this kid is about ready to come over and make a statement, fine. Go for the French guy. But if he's not, fuck that. You go a player who can help you now. Knicks at 8, doesn't matter. Mavs at 9, doesn't matter. They've only got a few years with Dirk left anyway. Kings at 10. 11 is the Hornets. 12 is the Pistons. 13 is the Nugs. Is it Denver? Because that's two. That's a double reference now. Probably, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Blazers. Tank Nugs, followed by the Blazers and the Heat. Man, the weed joke just went hard, high in the air, man. I don't know. See, the problem with this draft is it's not a great draft. It's absolutely not a great draft. It's a heavy draft of, I want to say, like, it's a guards and forwards draft.
It is.
It's definitely like a 2 or 3 draft. Threes draft. A whole lot of value in this draft. And you know what? I could be wrong. Could prove me wrong. They said, hey, we could have the future top 50 player. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
Who knows?
Look,
But it's not a great draft. It's not a great draft.
you're going to get some good players out of it. You always do. I just don't see anybody like you. I think you made a good point earlier in that, you don't see a Tim Duncan here. You know what I mean? Like, you see some players that could potentially put up 20 a game. You see good players in this draft, but I'm telling you right now, though, it's going to be really interesting because you have a lot of the same kind of players in this draft. You have a lot of stretch fours. You have a lot of shooting guards. You have a lot of stretch fours, and there's only so many spots for those kind of guys.
Mm-hmm.
And not everybody appreciates a stretch four. Not everybody appreciates pure jump shooters. Depends on what your system is.
And if you think about it, a lot of the teams already have stretch fours.
Yeah. I mean, look. Yeah. I mean that this has been a growing phenomenon for the last 5 years. So yeah, you're right. And we'll have to see how it falls into place. Once you get the combine and everything, we'll have to see how it all falls into place. But I do think with the Celtics at number 1, it makes for a fascinating story. Because you don't know what they're going to do. They're going to be selective here. They're going to take a look at the players in the draft. They're going to try them out. They're going to see if there's anybody there that can help them. Obviously, they're going to wait and see how the series goes. Because they want to, it's going to give them a good idea of what they might need. And if they determine that there's nobody in this draft that can fill the needs they have, they can use that pick to trade to get something they can use. One way or the other. That's how it works. They're in a position of great power. Because as a winning team, they have flexibility now to go ahead and go get what they need to get. It's a good spot to be in. But, again, that's the one part of it. The other part of it is I think it almost confirms that Ball is going to go to the Lakers, to me. Because, not that all the signs were not playing in that direction anyway, but with the Celtics being there, the Celtics aren't going to take him. So, it would be funny if he fell all the way out of the top 15, but that ain't happening.
Nope.
It isn't. I wish it would because I think it would drop them both down a peg. But yeah. All right. So that's the draft lottery. Now on to the playoffs. And look, we now arrived exactly where I thought we would. Cavaliers, Celtics, Warriors, Spurs. For as awesome as we thought the second round might be, it didn't really turn to much. The only series that really was fascinating was the Rockets and the Spurs. And, you give the Spurs credit. They finished that series out without Kawhi Leonard. And, look, Houston, I got to give Houston credit. It's funny. They dumped Dwight Howard, and all of a sudden they got better. But it's true, they did. They put on a hell of a fight. Now, a lot's going to be made of Game 6 where the Spurs beat the Rockets without Kawhi Leonard, and also James Harden was pretty much non-existent. I think he only had like 8 points in that game. Mike will tell you, James Harden has a history of not showing up in the big games. When he was still with the Thunder, you remember when the Thunder were in the finals, where did James Harden go before he got traded to Houston? He was gone. He disappeared. Last year in the playoffs, when the Rockets season was on the line, he disappeared. And here we are again. Their season on the line against the Spurs, and the Spurs don't even have their best player. And what happens? I mean, they don't even have their best player. Forget about best player, best defender. And he would have been guarding James Harden. James Harden had it easy. He didn't have to deal with Kawhi Leonard. And he still can't manage to score double digits, and he's non-existent. That's going to be a big storyline going forward now. Harden has put himself in a situation where he's going to be looked at as a guy that can't get it done when it matters. He's going to be looked at very harshly, especially from the Houston fans now. He's going to have a lot of even more pressure on his shoulders than he would have ordinarily had. But you give the Spurs credit. They got the job done. And look, Cleveland and Cleveland and Golden State did their thing, handled their business, and here they are. And the Wizards, you give them credit because they put on a heck of a show. The Wizards are going to be a really good basketball team next year. They're ready. They're a piece away, and I think they're going to get that piece. I think they really just need – I think they need another scorer and maybe a good defender off the bench. If they get that, I think they'll be in very good shape. They did a very good job against the Celtics. I mean, if the ball bounces a little bit differently in that game, then the Wizards could easily have won that game. They played really well in the series, and it just had a couple of things not go their way, and the Celtics made the plays late. And that's ultimately what happened. But you give the Wizards a lot of credit. They were phenomenal in that series, and next year they're going to be a force. They are on their way. They're a really good team. And now we're left with the 4 teams we all thought we would end up with, and so far it's been nothing. Look, let's be honest. On the side of the Western Conference Finals, all the air got taken out of the series because Kawhi got hurt in Game 1. Now, a lot's been made of whether the play was dirty. You know, the player has a history. I'm blank. I can't pronounce his name. I'm blanking on his name. I'm trying to pull it up, but my computer's not giving me the. Hang on. There it is. It's like Google search ferociously. There it is. All right, so I'm blanking on the name, but I think everybody knows what I mean. Hang on.
This is a former Atlanta Hawks player. Very, very good three-point shooter. Smith.
No.
It's not Steve Smith. I'm making up names.
Stop. Just stop right now.
Even though Steve Smith is a former All-Star and Atlanta Hawks great.
Zaja Pachulia. That's his name. Sorry, I wanted to make sure I got it right. So, you know, a lot's been made of whether that was a dirty play or and look, the bottom line is, I mean, look, Popovich is right. He needs to allow the shooter to come down. You need to give the shooter space. And the way that he moved his body, you could see that he kind of put himself in that position to not do that. So it could be looked at as dirty. To me, it's just you know, just not basically to me it's just not allowing. I don't know if I classify as not allowing somebody to have space dirty. To me, it's not like a trip or anything, so it doesn't come off as dirty. It just comes off like a rules violation if you think about it. But look, the
rules violation in the NBA.
I know. Yeah. To me, here's the thing: Kawhi was hurt. He came back in Game 1. He re-aggravates the ankle. He obviously didn't play in Game 2, and Game 2 was a complete mess. They lost 136-100. You know, hi. Everybody's making appearances tonight. Oh, yeah. Okay. That's crazy. But, yeah, so, you know, it's you know, he didn't play Game 2. Now, that's the first time I think, in my opinion, that I've ever seen the San Antonio Spurs, especially in a playoff game, be broken. Like, they looked broken in that game. They looked like they didn't want to be there. They looked lost. They looked despondent from start to finish. Now, I've seen a lot of people talk about how is it possible, even without Kawhi Leonard, that they blow a 25-point lead. This is the San Antonio Spurs in game one. How do you blow that lead? Well, it's easy. Kawhi Leonard is their best defender. He's their best player. Kawhi Leonard's assignment was Kevin Durant. Kawhi Leonard gets hurt. Durant goes off for 25 points from that point on, and that's how it happens. Because, see, here's the thing. Could they have gotten by without his scoring? Yes. But they can't get by without his defense. His defense is an X factor for the San Antonio Spurs. He is the guy that gets put on the top scorer for the other team, and they put him on Kevin Durant because they figured, you know what, we'll let Curry have it. We'll let Curry work for it. We'll let Curry have his shots. Durant's the guy we want to stop because Durant's the guy cutting to the basket, slashing to the basket. We need to stop Kevin Durant. He's the primary option to stop. And Kawhi Leonard did that until he got hurt. So losing him is a huge blow to that. It's a huge blow to their defense. And yes, it does hurt on the offensive end, but they could have gotten by. So that was key, and that's how you blow a lead. And so you add to it the fact that you lost your best player on both sides of the court, and then you blow that kind of lead in game one on the road. Okay, that can break you. That can make you despondent. I don't care how mentally tough you have been in the past, or the fact you got Greg Popovich. I don't care. That can really mess with a team's psyche. You can really do that. And I think you saw that in game two. That's the first time I remember watching a San Antonio game where they looked like they did not want to even play. They looked completely lost. And Golden State did their thing. So now the Spurs go back to San Antonio up. Well, the Warriors go to San Antonio, I should say. The Warriors go to San Antonio up 2-0. Now look, you don't write San Antonio off here. They got two home games here in a row to get back on track. I don't know if Leonard's going to play in game 3. If he does, you assume he won't be 100%. So we'll see how that impacts him. I don't like the Spurs' chances. I think Kawhi Leonard's injury has killed their chances to win the series. You obviously cannot write him off. You can't write him off. And they'll probably at least win a game at home. But whether he comes back or not, he's not going to be 100%. And I just don't see it. The Warriors are firing on all cylinders. They were firing on all cylinders coming into the series. And not having to deal with a fully healthy Kawhi Leonard is almost like a gift to them. And I'll give the Warriors credit. They've said the right things. They said, you know what, we want Kawhi to be healthy because we want to beat a team at full strength. We don't want it to be like with an asterisk. But, look, he's not going to be at full strength. And I think Golden State's going to win this series. It wouldn't surprise me if they win in 5. It wouldn't surprise me. Unless Kawhi Leonard all of a sudden heals up. So I think Golden State's got a ticket to the NBA Finals. On the flip side, Cleveland, Boston, only one game underway. Only one game so far in the series. Game 2 will take place tomorrow. No games on the airtime, which is why we're not doing score updates. Tomorrow night, game 2 from Boston. Obviously, Boston with the home court. Didn't matter in game 1. Cleveland handled Boston pretty handily. Look, it's going to come. Cleveland's been so good. They're so good, just like Golden State. Both these teams, that's like destiny, but both these teams have been dominant. And Cleveland, who started out this postseason a little rough on the defense, but has gotten better with each and every game. Again, we talked about it. Cleveland's got an extra step. It's like they've been holding back all season, and they probably have been. They've been great. And Boston's going to have to up their game defensively. Scoring-wise, I thought they did okay. Boston's going to have to up their game defensively if they're going to stop Cleveland. LeBron's going to get his points no matter what. They have to stop Irving and Love and anybody else from having their way with them. If they don't shut down the other options on the Cavs, they are going home, and they might get swept. And Boston's a good team. For them to get swept would say a lot. But I could see them getting swept because they've already lost a game in Boston. If they don't get this defense, if they don't turn this thing around defensively in game 2, they're going to lose game 2, and you're going back to Cleveland down 0-2. I could see a sweep there. So first of all, they have to win game 2. Obviously, that's an important game for them. But it's going to have to come on the defense. The changes have to come on the defensive end. They have got to get going defensively. If they don't, the series is over. That's what we stand with these two series. Game two of the Eastern Conference Finals will take place tomorrow. And I think Game 3 of the Western Conference takes place on Saturday. So, Mike, your thoughts on the series so far?
Honest to God, I have not been watching. I've been a little bit busy. My opinion probably won't go very far. Hearing myself talk, it sounds so great. It's a refreshing wave than hearing, you talk all the time. So, Washington fell short on Boston. Wizards deserve credit for being here. Give credit to John Wall. He almost willed them into the Eastern Conference Finals, but Cleveland was actively rooting for it. Got game one. Fair. Effectively. I mean, it was a solid 117-104. LeBron James was unstoppable. This is game one in Boston. LeBron James has 38 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists. Goes off for 32. They can't stop LeBron. The thing with Boston, and if I'm looking in the draft, I'm thinking maybe I think about – shut up, dog. Maybe I think about going defender. Some guy who could be eventually an elite defender. Because Boston had on their team, none of them could stop LeBron James. If nobody can stop LeBron James, then somebody else from Cleveland is open. This time it ended up being Kevin Love. It's probably going to end up being Kyrie Irving from here on out. So that's the thing. If Cleveland's got 2 guys, 3 guys scoring, you're not winning. You're the 1 seed or not. You're not winning if Cleveland's going to have Cleveland's got 1 or 2 or 3 guys in double digits. Like LeBron had 38. Excellent. Kevin Love had 32. Excellent. Tristan Thompson had 20. Thompson had 20. Irving had 11. If Cleveland's going to have 3 players like that score huge numbers every game, and every game it's going to be LeBron James, it doesn't stand that much of a chance. Yeah, Thomas doesn't go off. Thomas only had 17 this game. Crowder and Bradley each had 21 each, but clearly that's not enough. So that's the thing. You have guys that are going to go off offensively on a regular basis, and Cleveland is. Guys who are going to do that. You're not going to win. That's where Boston is now. They have an issue, a huge issue to fight out of. As for San Antonio, Golden State, it's 2-0 going back to San Antonio. I don't know. I feel like the Spurs is probably get it to 6 games, but that's about it. If you don't have Kawhi Leonard at 100%, you're not going to win. And let's face it, Manu can only do so much.
Yep. And Tony's out for the postseason.
Yeah.
So
you're gonna either have to find another way to compensate for the loss of your best defender and player, or you're done. And never writing out Greg Popovich is the thing. Like you, I can't write him out. Dude has 5 rings. One of the greatest coaches in modern history. And he's probably one of the smartest coaches out there. Not writing him out, it's just it's hard to see the way forward from here.
Yeah. Well, Marcus Aldridge and Manu Ginobili are not enough.
They're great players too, by the way.
They are
players.
They are, but they're just not enough. It's just the importance is really so much on the defensive end because that's what the Spurs are, and Kawhi Leonard is that guy. He's that X factor on defense, and if you don't have him, okay. So again, no games in the NBA tonight. That's why we're not updating. Tomorrow will be Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals, which are now led by Cleveland at Cleveland 1-0. Game will be, of course, from Boston. Then Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals will take place on Saturday from San Antonio. Of course, San Antonio down 0-2 in that series. So obviously we'll talk next week about those games, and then of course by the time we come back from hiatus, we'll have the finals. So. We want to talk about there. So, all right. So that's all the sports stuff. I said I was going to do NBA. That's what we're going to do. That's what we did. NBA lottery, NBA playoffs. Again, I was going to do some baseball stuff, but it's not something that has to be done this week. So we'll put it off to next week or beyond. So that's it for the sports stuff. Now we jump into entertainment, and we jump into the box office, which, boy, I feel pretty good about the way this box office season is going for my predictions. Because now, obviously, Guardians was an easy pick, but I think we all. Maybe I shouldn't get too happy. Maybe I shouldn't be too proud because it was easy to call this movie a flop. But I feel validated in saying that King Arthur is legitimately a flop. Again, there might be a lot of people that saw this from like a mile away, but I feel pretty validated, so I'm just going to say it. But yeah, King Arthur, that's I don't even, what's funny? You can't even call it a storyline because I think I think it was fairly predictable that this would happen. It's the second week of May. It's a big budget movie. It's a movie, we've seen this before, this kind of movie. We've seen this before. We've seen King Arthur movies before. And it's high budget, and you got a big movie from the first week of May that's predicted to still continue to do well. And then you come up with another movie that's a little bit more high concept that has a better chance at doing well because it's going to appeal more to women who might be looking for a movie to see it because there hasn't been a lot of movies geared towards women of late. And the recipe's there for a flop. Let's just put it that way, and it happened. So as predicted, Guardians was number 1, 65.2 million. I think that was about in the realm. I think I said anywhere between like 60 and 80. It fell in that realm, so it was good. 55% drop up, but again, still good. It's well on its way to $1 billion. It's over $500 million. No, we're actually at 646.8 to be exact. So well on its way there. So everything going swimmingly for Guardians of the Galaxy. Coming in second was Snatch, the Goldie Hawn, Amy Schumer comedy, 19.5. And that one did a little bit better than I thought it would. But again, though, the fact that I mentioned Amy Schumer's a draw, Goldie Hawn might get the older audiences. I think I mentioned last week I thought it could hit 20, and it came close. So, you know what? And that's a movie that only has a $42 million budget, so it's probably going to be okay. It's a $27.5 million worldwide right now, so it's probably going to be okay. And it's R-rated. It did well for itself. And again, there haven't been a lot of movies geared towards women. There haven't been a lot of comedies. So here you go. It filled a need in the market, and it worked. Unlike King Arthur, which came in third with 15.3 million. Now you're going to get 15.3 million and go, that's not too bad. It is when you have a $175 million budget.
And how much did it make worldwide?
35.8. So 55.2 million worldwide so far through yesterday.
Yikes.
So it hasn't even touched 60 yet. So here's the dilemma. So you can't even use the whole it did better overseas. This movie, the only saving grace for it was because it was never going to do well domestically, despite the cast. I like the cast, but it was never going to do better. It was never going to do well domestically. Never. Okay? You would have liked to have seen more. If it touched 20 million over here, I think you would have been happy. But you were really hoping the international gross was going to do something, and it didn't. And here's the problem.
What movie was it going up against?
Well, yeah. I mean, no matter what marketplace you end up with, it was going up against it. But here's the thing, though. In summertime or even during the holidays, if you don't do well in your first week, there's something coming out the next week, and that ruins your chances. It's not one of those things where, like, well, I had a down opening weekend, but I had, maybe good word of mouth will get me a better second weekend. No, that ain't going to happen here. First of all, there's no good word of mouth. And second of all, you got big movies coming out again every week now for the next couple months. You're done. Okay? You have to get that opening weekend, and you didn't. You're done. You didn't get it domestically. You didn't get it internationally. You're done.
And honestly, if it comes to word of mouth, if you're going to go up against Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, you better come out of that having great word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
The word of mouth coming out of Guardians, it wasn't exactly like the first one, but it was just as good.
Mm-hmm.
General consensus for Guardians of the Galaxy, and what was just as good means the opinion of Guardians of the Galaxy, and I'm not just saying this because we both love the movie. It was hilarious. It was fantastic. It was well done, and it was probably Marvel's cult classic. Much as almost $1 billion cult classic can be. So, King Arthur is the word of mouth that it got wasn't great. It was going up against something that had great word of mouth. And shut up, dog. And literally next week, you're going to go up against Pirates of the Caribbean, which is the beginning of the end for that franchise. So there's interest there because that always is a draw. And Baywatch starring The Rock, which already has great word of mouth. You've got The Rock everywhere promoting it. It's a win-win for everybody. King Arthur was fucked. Royally fucked. Dog?
Well, here's the other thing too. I always laugh because you can always tell when a studio starts to lose faith in the movie. When they start the marketing campaign, you see a movie, like, see the trailer everywhere, right? It's online everywhere.
Sure.
And when you go to see a movie, it's right there. And then all of a sudden it stops. And you don't see a trailer or a mention of that movie until like a week or two before the movie's coming out. That's always a sign, like, uh-oh. Like, you could tell they don't feel good about it. They didn't feel good about it. They had every reason to not feel good. And look, it had the theater counts in its favor. It's a flop. Now, it's not
when they should have saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 slotted the week before them, they should have been like, hey, maybe we should move this movie right into September.
It would have helped it a little bit.
It would have probably hit 20 million if it slotted right into September.
Right. Here's the thing. It continues the second weekend of May curse. Although Snatch doing well kind of makes it not a lost weekend for the new releases. So, it's not as bad of a weekend in general for new releases, but when you have a big budget flop, it kind of does represent a generally bad weekend for new releases. So outside of those three movies we mentioned, and coming from fourth, dropping from second, The Fate of the Furious, 5.4 million, only dropping 37% in its fifth week. And Beauty and the Beast and Boss Baby finished just outside, under 5 million. Beauty and the Beast in fifth, staying put in fifth with 4.8, which is still great for week 9. And then Boss Baby dropping from third to sixth with 4.4 million. A very good holdover, 24.5%. Beauty and the Beast only dropped off 5.5% in its 9th week, which is insane. So both those movies continue to do well despite summer, which is kind of reminding me of Jungle Book last year. Just kept doing well despite summer. So good for those two movies. So that's all the movies that did above 5 million or right under 5 million. So again, with Guardians doing its thing, Snatch doing okay. It holds up the weekend. It ends up being a decent box office weekend. So you take that for the second week of May, which can be sometimes a disastrous weekend if the movie that came out at the beginning of the month drops off considerably, and especially if you have a flop, it could end up being a disastrous weekend. But it wasn't. So you move on to the third week of May, and as we approach that Memorial Day weekend, everything's going to keep picking up. You're going to see more and more movies, and it's going to keep getting bigger and bigger. We get one of the big May tempos this weekend in Alien Covenant, and that's only the biggest release. There's two other new releases as well, one of which is expected to do well, and the other which could be another flop this summer. So again, I mentioned Alien Covenant. That is a sci-fi film from Fox, opening in 3,760 theaters. That is the biggest release of the weekend. It is R-rated, $97 million budget. So for an Alien movie, they brought the budget down, so that's a good thing. It's already made $46.6 million overseas, so it's already around halfway to its budget, which is always good considering how Prometheus was. Directed by Ridley Scott, starring Michael Fassbender, Catherine Waterston, Danny McBride. Other than Michael Fassbender, and I think there might be an appearance by Naomi Rapace. I think it might be an appearance by her, and again, Michael Fassbender in it, but everybody else is new. It's expected to be more in line with the Alien movies. That's why they put Alien in the title this time. So the general word of mouth is better on this one so far, at least so far. So I do expect it to do reasonably well. I thought Prometheus would probably hold it from doing really well. It probably would have done really, really well if Prometheus had done well and not been what it was. But it'll do okay enough. It won't be a flop. The second biggest release of the weekend is Diary of a Wimpy Kid: The Long Haul, a comedy from Fox, opening in 3,157 theaters. Brand new cast for this franchise. You got really one of the only names you're going to recognize, Alicia Silverstone. Everybody else is pretty much new, or not, or less known, I should say. But again, it is a new cast. These movies have done well historically. They've usually been reserved for August, which I didn't think was ever a bad time to release. Although in recent years, if you've seen a family movie like this based on a book, which Disney has done a ton of, you've seen them usually end up in October or September. Disney's done them, Fox has done them, Goosebumps came out in October. To me, they should have left this movie for October. Even when they were doing well and coming out in August, I always thought they should have been out in October. Fall is a good time for kids are back in school. These kind of movies, I think, do well when you don't have other things going on like summer vacations and stuff. But so, you know what? That's one of the reasons why I think this could fall. On top of the fact it's a new cast, the recipe for it to fail is a pretty good. The chance of it failing is a pretty good one. The chance is there. It's a very good chance it's going to fail. Especially with Guardians still doing well and some of the other family movies like Beauty and the Beast still doing okay. So the third new release this weekend is Everything, a drama from Warner Brothers, opening in 2,801 theaters. Starring Nick Robinson of Jurassic World. It's a $10 million budget. So you get a nice little low budget film here for the summer. Now look, you remember a couple years ago when The Fault in Our Stars came out, I thought it would flop big time. I thought it wouldn't do great. And I said it was the wrong time of year to release that. You should have held it for the fall or something. And it did really, really well. It became one of the surprise hits of summer. This has the potential to do the same thing. Now, that movie came out in June, the first week of June, which is usually a quieter week. So I think that helped it. This is coming out in May when you got a lot of competition and, it could hurt it. But I think, again, they're having too many movies geared towards women. Last week, you had a comedy geared towards women. This is a drama geared towards women, a romantic drama geared towards women. You haven't had that in a while. That's going to help it. And it doesn't have to do a lot. It's a $10 million budget. So to me, it's gonna do at least okay. Even if it does $12 million, that's good because it's over its budget. So I think it's gonna do just fine. I don't expect a flop or anything. Plus, it's hard to flop when you have a $10 million budget. So here's the way I see this weekend going. I think Guardians does just enough to take number one. I'm gonna say Guardians number one with about $35 million. 35 million. Alien Covenant, I think will be right on. I think it's gonna be very, very close. The R rating might hold some of it back. Prometheus and you know, the negative impact it's had on the Alien franchise might hold it back a little bit too. Kind of like how Batman Begins got held back by Batman and Robin a little bit. But I still think Alien Covenant will come in with around 25, 30 million. So I think those two movies will be very, very close. But Guardians, I predict the number one, 30 to 35. Alien Covenant, second, 25 to 30 million. I'm going to go with about 18 million for everything. I think it's going to do okay. I think it's going to do pretty well. So 18 million for everything. Diary of a Wimpy Kid, I'm going to go with about 10 million. Could be lower, could be a little higher. 10 million, I think they should be happy if they get that. I think Snatch will come in with around 8-9 million, be right there. Could beat Diary of a Wimpy Kid. King Arthur probably down around 6-7 million. And then I think everything else will be under 5 million. Beauty and the Beast and Boss Baby will fall further. And I think Fate of the Fierce will be right around 5 million, or if not a little under that. That's how I see them all ending up this weekend. Mike, your thoughts on the box office last week, this week? Anything else you want to add?
Galaxy Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 kicked all sorts of ass like we expected it to. So there it goes.
Fair enough. All right.
There it goes.
Now, when we have our daytime show next week, we'll preview Pirates of the Caribbean and Baywatch. Baywatch will be coming out on Wednesday of next week. Pirates will be coming out on Friday. Those are your two Memorial Day movies. Only two this year. Lately, it's been three. Usually, you've had a comedy, an animated movie, and then a big action adventure kind of movie. You got your action adventure, you got your comedy and comedy action. But you don't have an animated movie. The animated film is coming out the week after in Captain Underpants. So, that might help the two movies being released. Also, I think that was a choice too, because, animation, it requires the family audience, and the family audience might be still busy with Guardians, plus it might be busy with Pirates of the Caribbean that weekend. So, probably why they stayed away from it. But we'll talk more about these other movies I just mentioned in the weeks to come. So we'll leave it at that. All right, so that's the box office beat. Now, TV highlights. I'll start. I'll go very, very quickly because I don't have a lot this week. Well, I do have a couple of things, but there's things that you're going to mention, so I don't want to belabor them.
No, go ahead.
Well, because I we're going to say the same things probably, but well, I liked Arrow this week. I'll say that. I liked Arrow this week, although I'm still dreading next week for obvious reasons. But I liked it. The build-up, there's an epic feel to it. It's nice that this year we don't have like a doomsday thing like with Star City. It's more of an internal conflict kind of thing. I like that. It feels, and Stephen Amell's been doing great work. Just some criticisms I have, but Stephen Amell's been doing great work. And I just hope that next week that they make the right choices. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to mention The Flash because even though there were some good sequences in that episode, I'm just down on that show right now. Let's see what else did I watch this week. Gotham I thought wasn't that good. It was all right this week, but I don't want to highlight it. What did I watch this week? Let's see. Mention that. I think I just did a lot of comic book shows this week. I don't think I got into any of the comedies that I watch. Yeah, because I've been watching NBA and stuff. Yeah, the only other show I watched was S.H.I.E.L.D. And for those that haven't seen, I'm not going to spoil, but it was good. I wish that they had a 2-hour finale because I did feel like they could have used the extra hour, as opposed to and I know that there was a feeling. I think Clark Gregg might have said this on Twitter, that they didn't know if they were going to get the season 5 renewal or not. So there were some things that they did that were done to give some closure, just in case they didn't. So some things had to be, and plus they had to work around Ming Na's injury too, and it's obvious that they had to work around her. So overall, though, I thought they pulled it together pretty well. The framework stuff was amazing. I don't cry easily, but that got me. That was really good. Some really good acting there. Ghost Rider was phenomenal. Great effects. The stuff for him and Daisy was good. They set up some really interesting stuff for next season. The last 5 minutes were just, there was some good closure there. There's a spot with Daisy and Fitz there that I thought really was a good. If the show did end there, that would have been good, because it's a coming into your own kind of moment. Some nice Doctor Strange Easter eggs. But the last two scenes, I don't know if I've ever been more excited about this show as I am what they did in the last two scenes. Because for the first time, I think that, well, not for the first time since season 1, I feel like there's something coming that's going to be really a direct connection to what's coming next year. Like, not like a Easter egg or like a thematic connection. Like season 1, where you had something like Nick Fury was actually on the show, and the Winter Soldier thing was a direct connection to S.H.I.E.L.D. This feels like something big, and I loved it. I really, really loved it, and I'm totally on board with it. I thought it was a phenomenal cliffhanger, and I'm so glad they got it season 5, because that would have pissed me off. But all right, I'm done. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
Oh, all right. Well, see, I haven't seen Arrow or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. yet. Just that, and hey, I can hear myself again, and I sound better than you. So there's that problem that you have. Yeah, Arrow or S.H.I.E.L.D. yet, so I'm going to get to them when I get to them. I'm actually 2 weeks behind on Arrow. I did catch up on Flash. And I'm going to say, and this is spoilers for season 1 of Legends of Tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Did they kill Captain Cold? Because this episode, they have Barry Allen take Captain Cold out of the time stream back when he was kind of a good guy with the Legends. And most of this episode was Barry Allen and Captain Cold having an adventure, and it was the best thing they've done all year on Flash. It was the best thing they've done all year. It was so good. It was so good. Then, spoiler alert, you know that thing they've been trying to stop all season long?
Yeah.
It happened. We've got 1 episode left. So, in the end, it's like, we go back to say, does Barry save Iris? Spoiler alert, Barry's a little bitch who doesn't learn from his mistakes, so of course he fucking does. Oh, well, I mean, last week's Flash was actually pretty good, don't get me wrong, but this week's Flash was actually really good, because it was mostly, it's like, God, I miss Captain Cold so much. Why does Wentworth Miller have to go back to film fucking Prison Break? He is so perfect for Flash. He is so perfect. You know what? If they could find a way to resurrect Captain Cold and put him back on Flash, be so great. Because, look, I said it with Legends of Tomorrow. Captain Cold is like the best character they've had. Captain Cold and Heatwave, I think, are the best characters in the in the DC television universe, other than season 2 Green Arrow, maybe season 2 Canary, Arsenal. Like those are and Diggle's always got the soft spot, but literally those are the best characters in the whole universe so far. And it's just they need and I'm forgetting Malcolm Merlin, but that's for another story. Even though Merlin might end up dead. Oh, did he even come back yet? Spoiler, I looked it up. I'll spoil it myself.
Yeah, he.
Don't worry about it. I'll spoil it myself.
Yeah, spoil it for yourself. I hate doing that. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just saying, this week's Flash was a breath of fresh air. Even though one thing they've been trying to stop all season actually happens. So, sorry, guys. Let's see. I've caught up on Speechless, and the season finale is tonight.
Yep.
And tonight's episode season finale was last night. Excuse me. Speechless had a fantastic finale. It was funny. It was charming. It was great. Cannot complain more. Cannot complain at all. Cannot say any more good about it. Speechless is probably the best new comedy this year. It's the best new comedy. It did so many things well. It was a great episode. I highly recommend Speechless. And the only other show I'm going to talk about is Doctor Who. Speaking of breaths, like we said earlier, breaths. Kind of like the key for this episode of Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good. It was edge of your seat. Matt Lucas was in the whole episode. That's a plus. Really loving this new season. At the end of this episode, we just got another thing that is the plot. And they're and not only that, I think the I'm pretty sure I saw the spoiled the what is for Doctor Who, the episode titles for Doctor Who, which is a little distressing. But this one was called it takes place on the space station. The Doctor, Bill, and Nardole have to figure out this crisis. And on top of it, another crisis happens. Fantastic little action-packed episode. Had a very, very smart conclusion. Viewed at capitalism as a whole. Capitalism feels like it should be going. That's the right there. Don't go do what Doctor Who said not to do in this episode. But unfortunately, they released the episode titles, and unfortunately, the final episode of this run is called "The Doctor Falls." Those of you like me who are hoping that Capaldi survives into the Christmas episode, so. Who I highly recommend. I love it. The season's been great. So, all right. There was a show on PBS. There was a special on PBS called Charles III. Like, oh, Charles III. Now, here's the thing. A what if drama. If the royal family got rid of Parliament and the Prime Ministry, back power in Britain. If. And Elizabeth dies, creating the power vacuum on top between Charles and his son, William. And I only came at the end. If story, really good. interesting. Princess Diana was kind of like as a specter haunting. And in the end, it ended in a really, really kind of terrifying place too. Like it ended kind of terrifying.
Mm.
Story. What if story? The actors they got to play, especially Will and Kate. I like them. And they sounded a lot like them too. Not that I really know how Will and Kate sound, but Charles III, I recommended. It was kind of Shakespearean too. If you want to see, hey, what if the Royals took place? Well, PBS is like, hey kid, we got a show for you. Highly recommend it. And that's it.
Is that it?
On Shield and Arrow and all the like. I have to catch up on Shield, Arrow, and Bull. So
Okay. All right. So those are your TV highlights. And from TV highlights, we go to TV upfronts. Last week, we talked about those shows that got renewed, canceled, some of the new shows that got picked up. And I said that this is a two-pronged thing. You get the cancellations, renewals, the pickups, and now how it all comes together. You get the schedules. And not by now, all the major networks, we're not going to go to every cable channel, okay? Not going to do that. We're just going to look at the broadcast. That's always the big discussion. Fox, maybe sometimes CW, although CW is usually the same. ABC, CBS, NBC. That's what we're going to look at right here with this. And by now, like I said, that's the reason why we did this tonight, is because now we can look at all the schedules and we can kind of talk about the big storylines as they relate to that. We'll start with CBS first. Because they were the last one to really cancel anything, and there were some more cancellation renewals, and Training Day was obviously canceled, which I thought was going to happen, and among other things, some of the shows that were waiting got canceled. So here's what you got on CBS for the fall. Mondays from September to October will be The Big Bang Theory, new show 9JKL, Kevin Kuwait at 9, Me, Myself, and I at 9:30, and Scorpion at 10. Mondays starting October 30th, Kevin Kuwait moves to 8 o'clock. 9JKL stays at 8:30. Me, Myself, and I moves to 9 o'clock. And Superior Donuts jumps into the 9:30 slot, and Scorpion, of course, stays at 10. Tuesdays, NCIS, Bowl, and NCIS New Orleans. No big surprises there. Wednesday, Survivor, SEAL Team, Criminal Minds moves to a new time at 10 p.m. on Wednesdays. Again, not anything surprising. Criminal Minds gets a new time, but I thought that was fitting, so that's okay. Thursdays from September to October. Thursday Night Football pregame, 7:30. Thursday Night Football takes up the entire night. And then Thursday, starting November 2nd, Big Bang Theory moves to 8 o'clock. Young Sheldon, the Big Bang Theory spinoff, will be at 8:30. Mom at 9. Life in Peace at 9:30. And SWAT jumps in at 10 o'clock. Fridays, MacGyver, Hawaii Five-0, Blue Bloods, nothing surprising. Saturday, they got their Crime Time Saturday deal for 48 hours. Then Sunday, 60 Minutes, Wisdom of the Crowd, a new show. NCIS Los Angeles at a new time. And Madam Secretary at a new time. That's their fall schedule. Obviously, anything that was picked up that isn't on here will be a mid-season type deal. And we'll talk more about new shows and returning stuff and that, as we get closer to the season. This is about looking at the schedule. I don't think there's anything surprising here at all. Obviously, they're going to move Big Bang Theory around based on football. Nothing surprising here. I don't think there's anything to really even talk about here. I mean, you could talk about their renewals and cancel, but I think pretty much everything that they canceled was expected to be canceled. And anything that they were expected to hold to mid-season, like Elementary, which is a returning show, to be held till mid-season. Pretty much everything that they did was expected. Nothing was too shocking. So I don't have anything to say about this. Mike, do you have anything about CBS to add?
It's coming back, right?
Yep. Tuesdays at 9.
Nope. After Person of Interest, if they let me down with Person of Interest, I have nothing great to say about them.
It's a very predictable schedule. Everything all the possibilities that would have been discussed, all the things that we thought they could do, they did. So there's really not much you can say about it. So I'll just leave it at that. So fairly easy one. I'm trying to pull up the next schedule because my computer doesn't want to work. So bear with me for a second. If it'll let me. Not sure why it's not loading. Come on. Wow, this is horrible. I can't even go to another web page. Wow.
Yay.
Yay, I was doing so well too. The whole thing is frozen. That sucks. Oh, here it is. Hey, okay, now I'm getting somewhere. If it'll let me click. I might just have to close out the browser because it ain't working. Here it goes. Okay. Yeah, I had to close out the browser. Sorry about that. That close. Yeah, it was one of those things where you lose the internet bars and then all of a sudden they appear again.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what happened. Okay, so we're going back. We're jumping back on now. All right. So that is CBS. Now we're going to jump to. We'll do NBC now because there's not as much to talk about there. We'll do NBC, Fox, and ABC. ABC's got the most discussion. Actually, we'll do Fox now because that's why I clicked on. All right, so Fox changed a lot of stuff. Mondays have Lucifer moves to 8 o'clock from 9 o'clock. The X-Men show The Gifted will take over the 9 o'clock slot. Remember, Fox only has 2 hours of prime time, so this is fairly short schedule. Tuesday, Lethal Weapon moves to a new night, 8 to 9. The Mick at 9, Brooklyn Nine-Nine at 9:30. Wednesday, Empire moves up to the 8 o'clock hour. Star will jump into the 9 o'clock slot. It's a new show. Well, it's not a new show. I think it is a new show. So they'll go together. That makes sense to put Empire with Star. Gotham moves to Thursday nights at 8 o'clock. And then that will be followed by the Seth MacFarlane show, The Orville. Friday, Hell's Kitchen and The Exorcist. And then Saturday, Fox College Football. And, of course, Sunday, we all know what Sunday is. NFL Overruns, The OT / Bob's Burgers, The Simpsons, a new show called Ghosted, Family Guy, and then The Last Man on Earth. So, all right, so Friday. So let's get this out of the way. Fox thinks they're being cute because Friday night is going to be Hell Night because they're doing Hell's Kitchen, The Exorcist. If they had a third hour to fill, they'd probably put Lucifer. They think they're being cute with that. So yeah, but Hell's Kitchen, The Exorcist, so they're going for a nice theme there. Once they kept The Exorcist, I pretty much knew they're going to put it on Friday night because they weren't going to trust it anywhere else. Because they're going to give out some of the new shows premiere time slots. I wasn't surprised Lethal Weapon moved. I knew they were going to move Empire up and put it with Star. It made sense. You're not going to start the night with Star. Star has to be. You have to have Empire as a lead-in. They're using all their established shows as lead-ins. Lucifer, Lethal Weapon, Empire, Gotham are all established shows being used as lead-ins to help other shows. So it makes sense that they would do that. So yeah, Empire moving up and Star going behind it is not shocking. Now, I personally would have done Gotham on Mondays and paired it with The Gifted. I know it's Marvel and DC, but I would have done that. I don't like Lucifer in that 8 o'clock slot. I don't like Lucifer as a lead-in. I thought Gotham and Lucifer helped each other. I thought they were a good match. Obviously, moving I would have kept Gotham where it was. I would have moved Lucifer to Thursdays and had Lucifer anchor Thursdays because Lucifer goes to for synergy reasons. Now I know Lucifer, there's a comic element to it, but I think Gotham would have been a better fit with the Gifted. So that would have been my opinion. I just think, Batman and X-Men would have been a nice little branding thing. But it is what it is. That would be the only quibble I have is Gotham and Lucifer, I think, should have traded spots. I think Gotham would have worked better with the Gifted. Lucifer, again, it would have been a risk. No matter where you put Lucifer, once you move it up to 8 o'clock, it's a risk. But I think, you could have gotten more out of Mondays with Gotham there. And Lucifer, you would have seen what happened there. And if Exorcist ends up being just falling completely off, you could have moved Lucifer to Friday and paired it with Hell's Kitchen instead of the same thematic night. But otherwise, other than that, I have nothing else to say about the schedule. Mike, anything to add with Fox?
Oh, it's pointless because Fox's schedule is dumb, and well, there you go.
I mean, there's not much they can do with only 2 hours, so it's kind of, but whatever. But all in all, it's not again, other than Gotham and Lucifer, I don't really have much reaction. I think everything that they did was pretty much in line with, what should have been done based on what they renewed, picked up, and what they had available to them, what they left available to themselves. All right, NBC now. Mondays, The Voice, 8 to 10. Then the new show, The Brave. Tuesdays, The Voice, 8 to 9. Superstar moves to Tuesdays at 9. The Good Place moves to a new night as well, 9:30 on Tuesdays. Chicago Fire keeps its 10 o'clock Tuesday slot. The Blacklist moves to Wednesdays, 8 to 9. Law and Order SVU stays put at 9 on Wednesday. Chicago PD stays put at 10 on Wednesday. Now, the big storyline here. Thursday nights, which NBC is bringing back the must-see TV tagline for. Will and Grace Revival will be at 8 o'clock. Great News moves to a new night, 8:30 p.m. So they'll keep their must-see TV comedy block for an hour on that night. And then they move their biggest drama hit of the season, This Is Us, to Thursdays at 9. And then the new Law & Order show, Law & Order True Crime, The Menendez Murders, 10 o'clock. Friday nights will feature a couple familiar shows on new nights. Blind Spot at 8, Taken at 9. And then Dateline at 10, Dateline Mystery on Saturdays with SNL Vintage. And then Sundays will be Football Night in America on Sunday Night Football. Of course, later on in the season, they'll put some new stuff on Sundays once football is over. They have a host of things, and we'll get into that. We're not going to get into that now. We'll get into that as we get closer to the TV season. They have Shades of Blue, I think, will be on Sundays. They'll have little big shots. They have a new game show with Ellen. They have a lot of things, but we'll touch base with that as we get closer. So, anything else that has been, as I've been saying, anything that has been mentioned, this is the fall schedule. Anything that's been renewed and you don't hear it mentioned, that'll be a mid-season type deal. So you'll hear about that around the time mid-season comes. Storyline here is This Is Us. I think what they're doing is completely and utterly stupid. NBC has a tendency to do this. They move their shows. Fox does it too, but NBC more so. You get a new hit, and what do? You move it. They did it with the Blacklist, and they Blacklist lost half its audience to DVRs, live audience to DVRs because of it. I don't like this. I think it's dumb. I think putting This Is Us on a Thursday, This Is Us appeals heavily to females. And you're sticking on Thursday night where the female audience is pretty much all over ABC between all the Shonda Rhimes shows. You're going to have a very hard time keeping that female audience live to watch this. I'm not saying that This Is Us going to lose all its audience, but they'll be watching on DVR, and you're going to lose a ton of live audience people because of this. To move it around like that is stupid. Keep it where it is. You have a strength there. Keep it where it is. Because I think they would have been better off if they're going to bring back the must-see TV thing. Why not keep Superstore and The Good Place, have Superstar and The Good Place on Thursdays and make it a comedy block and try to build that? That would have been smart. That's what I would have done, because at least it's something different to counteract what ABC is doing and CBS is doing. To me, that was stupid. This Is Us on Thursday is a mistake. I think it's going to hurt it big time because their primary audience is going to be watching another network. They're already set on watching another network. Now, look, if it works out, then they look really, really intelligent. And there's always a chance it does. Maybe This Is Us is the show that people would rather watch live versus what's on ABC. But I have my doubts about that. So Putting Will and Grace on Thursday was a no-brainer. Great news. If they're going to keep it, I think Thursday was a no-brainer as well. A lot of people don't think they should have kept it, but it's Tina Fey. You pretty much figured they were going to. Wednesdays, obviously, they kept that pretty much the same. I don't know if I like the Blacklist moving. I think Blacklist should have stayed on Thursday. I think it would have been, especially in light of them moving This Is Us. I know they have nothing to do with each other, completely different shows, but I would have liked to see if This Is Us could help the Blacklist get its live audience back. That would have been interesting to see that. Then there's also a part of me that thinks they probably should have paired the Blacklist and Blind Spot together because they're fairly similar. But a lot of people thought they might do that move SVU. A lot of people thought peg Blacklist for the Wednesday night. But I think they figured Blind Spot would do 8 and then Blacklist would do 9. SVU would move to Friday, but that's not what happened. So instead you get Blind Spot and Taken on Friday. Taken was a very, so was Blind Spot. Both those were surprise renewals for some people. Mostly Taken was a surprise renewal for people. But look, I know people think Friday nights is a night to kill TV shows. You've seen shows do well. You've seen Grimm do well. You've seen Last Man Standing. Some shows do well. Depends if you're a good enough show. We'll see. Friday nights have a little bit of a lower expectation. We'll see if these two shows can do well on that night. I think they complement each other well, so that's good. Just like I think Blind Spot or Taken would have complemented Blacklist well. You could have went any way you wanted to with that. Maybe Blacklist and SVU will complement each other. They kind of do, but you know. So I guess from a thematic standpoint, NBC didn't do a bad job, except for Thursday, but they didn't do a bad job. And look, we all knew what Monday was going to be. I figured the Bray would be after The Voice, no shock there. So everything else is pretty much not surprising. So, Mike, anything to add with NBC?
NBC's dumb, no. You're rushing you along. NBC's dumb, no.
Okay. All right, we'll do. That my computer moves here. Come on, move along. We gotta get to CW. If it ever moves. Here it goes. All right, CW. We'll do CW and then we'll do ABC. CW I'm not gonna have much to say about because it's not really surprising. Here it goes. It's the one with the big arrow picture on it. Okay. All right, so CW, fairly straightforward. Monday, Supergirl and Valor. Tuesday, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow. Wednesday, Riverdale moves to a new night. And Dynasty, the reboot of Dynasty, will be at 9. Supernatural on Thursdays at 8. Arrow moves to a new night at 9 on Thursdays. That's a little bit of a surprise. Friday, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend at a new time, and Jane the Virgin on a new night. So some shuffling here. So Arrow goes to Thursday because now, see, I don't know if I like this. Mondays I can deal with. All right, actually, no, I take that back. I think what they should have done was they should have moved Supernatural to Monday. Paired it with Valor, even though I know it doesn't really match up too well, but I don't think there's any way they could do that. Flash and Legends, you keep the same. I understand the need to keep Riverdale and Dynasty together. I would have done that on Thursdays. I know you probably would have. They're probably doing that because they're trying to get the female audience, and they think they have a better chance on Wednesday than Thursday when ABC kind of dominates that. So I think that's why they're doing it, but I don't know if I would have moved Arrow. I still think Arrow should be with Supergirl. Pair your comic book shows together, even though Riverdale kind of is a comic book show too. So Fridays make sense, I guess. You can't put those two shows anywhere else. So Fridays make sense. Comedies can sometimes do well on Fridays. That would have been the only change I would have made. And I don't think this is damaging to Arrow at this point. I don't think it's like it's gonna kill the show or anything. I think it could hurt it a little bit with numbers, a little bit. I would have rather just put Arrow with Supergirl and kept it on Wednesday night, moved Supernatural to Monday, and kept Riverdale on Thursday and paired it with Dynasty. That's what I would have done. But there's nothing outrageous, although it is surprising what they did with Arrow. It is surprising that they would do that. But, Mike, anything to add with CW?
It's not that surprising. All they did was flip Arrow and Supernatural.
No, he didn't.
Isn't Arrow
Arrow was
always
never
in paired
on.
with Supernatural? I thought
It was never
Arrow.
on Thursdays.
Well, that's the thing. I'm pretty sure this was a request. This was something at the request of Jensen and Eccles. Hey, let's put our highest 2-rated shows on the same night together. Well, especially since they have this Black Lightning show coming. I think it's another DC show that's probably going to be in the Arrowverse.
No, they actually said today it's not going to be part of it.
Yeah, you bet your ass it's going to be part of it. They're going to retcon they're going to put that back in the fucking Arrowverse. You know they're going to.
Probably.
Stupid not to have all of your shows in the same friggin' universe, especially since you've got Barry Allen, who could travel through time and dimensions.
Yeah.
The odd episode with Supergirl.
True.
Why don't we bring back Darren Criss as Music Meister? That might be fun.
Mm.
It's not like Stephen Amell can't sing. Why wasn't he in that episode anyway? I don't understand that. More questions than answers.
Mm-hmm.
Paired their highest rated shows together, so what?
No, we'll see. Maybe it'll be the opposite of what I think. They won't be hurt a little bit. They'll help each other. We'll see. Mm-hmm. Last but not least, ABC.
Why are we still going?
It's the last one, Mike. Relax. Hey, I move pretty fast.
You are talking an awful lot.
Well, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to complete it. So, relax. It's the last one. Stop complaining. We'll be done soon.
I asked.
Okay, Mondays, we have Dancing with the Stars and a new show, The Good Doctor. Tuesdays, The Middle, Fresh Off the Boat at a new time, Blackish on a new night. The Mayor, new show, new comedy, The Mayor, 9:30, and a new show, The Gospel of Kevin at 10. Wednesdays, The Goldbergs, Speechless, Modern Family, American Housewife moves to a new night at 9:30. Designated Survivor stays put at 10. Thursdays, exactly the same. Grey's Anatomy, Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder. Everybody's on for the fall season. No mid-season deals there. Friday, they're trying to bring back TGIF, but in a new way, by making it their fantasy sci-fi night at ABC. Once Upon a Time moves to a new night at the 9 o'clock time slot. Inhumans will take place, will fill the 9 o'clock slot until Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. debuts sometime in the mid-season. They're saying probably November, anywhere between November and January, but we'll see. And then 2020. Saturday Night College Football. Sunday, America's Funniest Videos. A new show to tell the truth. Shark Tank moves to a new night. And then a new show, 10 Days in the Valley. So Thursdays stay the same. Wednesdays, for the most part, stay the same. They just put American Housewife on a new night. So, again, they keep their comedy blocks intact. Tuesday, comedy block stays intact for the most part. Fresh Off the Boat moves to a new time. Blackish moves to a new night. And then they got a new show in The Mayor. And then a new drama show at 10 o'clock, which will probably be dead on arrival because, that time slot is a depth slot. It's always been for ABC. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was lucky to survive it. Mondays, we all knew they were going to hand a new drama to Dancing with the Stars. And Good Doctor made the most sense. So no shocks there. So no shocks on Monday. Tuesday, no shocks. Wednesday, no shocks. You knew they were going to keep their comedy blocks together and put probably a new show on at 10. Well, we didn't know they were going to put a new show on at 10. I think everybody pretty much assumed they were going to keep that slot for Marvel, like they did this season with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think people thought Inhumans would start at 10 o'clock on Tuesday, and then they would do Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So moving into that was the big surprise, was debuting Inhumans on Friday. A new to do that with Once Upon a Time, which is not really a strong lead-in at this point in its run. That's a little shocking when you put so much money into Inhumans. You're going to do the IMAX thing. That's a little surprising. Is moving Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to Friday to pair it with Once Upon a Time a surprise? Not necessarily. But to debut Inhumans on that night is a surprise. Well, because for a while now, people wanted Once Upon a Time and S.H.I.E.L.D. together, put Marvel and Disney's fantasy show together. It made sense. But that's the only true surprise. Everything else was pretty much, what would you expect it to? Again, the Inhumans thing is probably the biggest surprise, not having that on Tuesday at 10 and by virtue Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on Tuesday at 10. That's the only thing that I think people would have been surprised by. Other than that, though, it's a pretty, I like the idea of Friday night being like a sci-fi thing. That's a pretty cool idea. If they weren't going to put sitcoms on Friday, smart idea. I mean, there is an audience to be had on Fridays. Grimm did well. Last Man Standing did well. And I know there's a lot of controversy with Last Man Standing. You know, they did well there. So there's an audience. It doesn't necessarily mean your show's going to be buried, but it is what it is. I don't think it's a bad schedule. I think ABC knows where its strength is. It's in comedies. They kept them together. That's helping. I think they did a smart schedule. So, Mike, anything to add?
Why the hell is Once Upon a Time still in the air?
And they're rebooting it with like 6 of the main characters leaving too. Go figure.
Who gives a shit? That shit. Last Man Standing. The only thing controversial about Last Man Standing, another network. And nobody likes paying for other network shows despite getting a rating. Oh, it'll probably end up on CMT. I don't care about ABC. Speechless is one of the things. It's like now I have to actually look for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when it comes back in the fall. That's great. I don't give 2 shits about Inhumans. Do you know what? Urge to watch Inhumans. I'll say fuck that and watch X-Men First Class instead.
I will say
or
that.
Watch the 90s X-Men cartoon.
That's good.
And that's because that, or you know what? I could watch the X-Men anime. That was actually really well done. It was the best anime of the Marvel's little pre-foray into the genre. Very well done. Or I could watch Wolverine and the X-Men because use of my time than fucking Inhumans, which is just knockoff X-Men anyway. God, I'm just so tired of that shit. Care about ABC. Once Upon a Time still on. There's literally no point to that show.
I don't understand why they're going to reboot it when they're already saying it's going to be their last season. Why bother rebooting with everybody leaving? Why bother?
Unless you're planning on doing more.
Well, I will say this.
Why?
I was interested in Inhumans, and then I saw the cast photo, and I saw the way it looked. I don't have high hopes. I know they're going to debut it in IMAX. That's pretty cool. But this show doesn't look. It doesn't look very good. I mean, it had the potential to be like a Game of Thrones type deal. It doesn't look like it's going to be that. And the fact that look, I'm not saying I just got done saying that Friday doesn't mean that you're going to bury your show, okay? But here's the thing: to debut a new show that's been so hyped on a Friday night speaks volumes of how much faith they have in it. To me, I mean, when you move a show that's been on the air for a while to Friday, that one I don't have as much of an issue because you got an audience there. You know, there's an audience. They'll probably find the show. But to debut a new show there, that one, I don't know. That one, that shows me that there's no faith in that show. They probably saw the first couple episodes and like, ugh. And you know what? I think that's one of the reasons why they haven't announced when Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to come out. They said mid-season, and it got a full 22 episodes. If Inhumans bombs, like totally flops, they'll bring S.H.I.E.L.D. back earlier. That's what they'll do. So I think that's why they haven't announced an actual date for their return yet. So, all right, so that's the schedules. So not too many surprises, but a few. And some interesting switches. I think the worst decision is probably the This Is Us thing on NBC. I think that's totally a stupid move. But other than that, I think for the most part, the networks didn't do too bad. We've seen worse, that's for sure. So, all right, we got through everything. We are done. We'll wind down. As always, the show is over. It's not mean you have to stop interacting, contributing to the show, have your voice heard. Continue to send us your feedback. We need it. We want it. Keep sending it. Topic ideas or breaking news items related to sports, entertainment, wrestling you want us to cover. Reactions, opinions, or comments on things we talked about on the show, things we said. Topic ideas or breaking news items, like I said, they want us to cover. Any of these questions about the show and the scheduling of the show, any of these things you can do by email, Facebook, and Twitter. You can email us at itspotlight411@gmail.com. You can also follow us and tweet us at itspotlight411. Don't forget to use the hashtag itspotlight411 for anything you tweet regarding our show. And, of course, you can find us on Facebook. Just search for In the Spotlight 411. And then once you find our fan page, make sure that you like it. We encourage you to follow us on Facebook and Twitter for the latest information about our show, especially when it comes to scheduling. Obviously, postponements and delays can happen. So you want to make sure you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to get the latest information about the show. And of course, we post random things on there as well. So make sure you follow us on Facebook and Twitter so you have access to all that and more. Again, just search for In the Spotlight 411. Again, search for In the Spotlight 411 on Facebook and Twitter, and you'll find us and you'll be able to follow us and get access to all of that. If you'd like to keep up with the show and look back at classic episodes, you have two ways to do that. You can either stream us anytime here on Google Plus and YouTube. Just search for In the Spotlight 411. You'll have access to every episode we've ever produced for Google Plus and YouTube. That's every episode from mid-October of 2015 all the way up into tonight's episode. All those episodes are available for your convenience anytime you want to stream them. So just search for us on Google Plus and YouTube. Search for us using the title In the Spotlight 411. And then once you find us, you can stream our shows anytime. If streaming's not for you, maybe you don't like seeing us on screen, maybe you're interested in older episodes of the show, if any of that applies to you, you can find us on our main host sites, Podbean and iTunes. Just search for In the Spotlight 411. And then once you do that, you'll have access to, and once you find our show pages on those sites, you'll have access to every episode that we've ever produced in the nearly 7 years we've been doing this show. So everything from our original Blog Talk Radio run from October 2010 to January 2011, everything from our Talk Show run from January 2011, all the way up to mid-October 2015. And, of course, all of our Google Plus and YouTube episodes from mid-October 2015 all the way up to tonight's episode are available in audio format for your convenience. Every episode we've ever done available from the most recent date to the oldest, organized from the most recent date to the oldest, available to you anytime you want to listen to them. You can listen on the go. Check them out anytime you want. Maybe you're a longtime fan wants to check an episode from 4 years ago, or a new fan wants to check an episode like that for the first time. Keep up with current episodes, miss the pirate episode, miss the episode entirely. If any of that applies to you, search for In the Spotlight 411 on Podbean and iTunes, our main host sites, and you'll be able to do all that and more. So Google Plus, YouTube, Podbean, iTunes, always keep up with the show and look back at classic episodes. Again, just search for In the Spotlight 411. Again, search for In the Spotlight 411 on Google Plus, YouTube, Podbean, and iTunes. Really quickly, I should mention, we want to give our condolences to the family, friends, and loved ones and fans of Chris Cornell, who passed away this morning. And this is truly shocking because last night he did a concert, even tweeted. He was the front man for Soundgarden and Audioslave. He died at the age of 52. It's being ruled a suicide, so may he rest in peace, and want to express our thoughts and condolences to him. Obviously, a big name, and thoughts and condolences to his family, loved ones, and fans. Obviously, he's a big name in music, and that was a tremendous, tremendous shock. So I wanted to make sure we noted that. Also, there was an incident in Times Square today that resulted in somebody getting killed. We want to give our condolences in regards to that tragedy as well. Condolences to the family, friends, and loved ones of the person whose life was taken in that incident, and to all those in some other way impacted. Our prayers go out to. That was obviously a horrible tragedy as well. So may that person that passed away in that incident rest in peace. And again, condolences to their family, friends, and loved ones, and to all those affected by that. Our thoughts and prayers are with you. So I just want to make sure we noted that today. So I want to thank Mike for being here tonight. Thank you, Mike. Thank myself for another great show. Pat myself on the back, and thank all of you for your continued support and contributions to the show. Thank you so much for watching. To those that will be watching, listening to this later, thank you to you as well. That is it for tonight. Again, the current plan right now, we will do a show on Monday during the day. Again, I'm thinking 2:30 p.m. Eastern time, but I would say look out for links to the show at 2 o'clock Eastern time. I'll try to do it earlier because I think it might be better. But so you know what? Scratch what I said about 2:30, 2 o'clock Eastern time Monday. That way, if I'm late, then you can't say, 2 o'clock. So 2 o'clock Eastern time Monday is our next show. That'll be our only show of next week. It'll be a very quick one. Just do the usual stuff that we have to do, box office, stuff like that, TV highlights. Well, I won't do TV highlights, just box office and just general sports stuff we'll do. We'll just like a bare bones show, but we'll do it. And that will be on Monday. Again, 2 o'clock Eastern time is the scheduled time. So look for our Facebook and look to our Facebook and Twitter pages for the show links so that you make sure it's still on. If there's any delays or postponements, I'll let you all know. Again, if we do have to cancel it, the only other day we would probably do it is on Wednesday. But right now, I don't anticipate that. So Monday will be our next show. Again, just be like just general sports stuff and box office beat. That's it. That's all it'll be. And then after that, we'll be off the air till Tuesday, June 6th. So keep all that in mind. So especially if you're not able to watch or listen to us on Monday. So keep that date in mind. All right, so that's it for tonight. I hope you all have a great rest of your night, a great weekend, and a great start to your week next week. We'll see you back here for our next show during the day on Monday, 2 o'clock from Eastern Time. That'll be our next show. That's, of course, this Monday, May the 22nd. And then after that, our next show will not be until Tuesday, June 6th, 9 o'clock from Eastern Time here on YouTube Live. So keep all that in mind. So have a good weekend, everybody. And we'll talk to you again Monday, 2 o'clock from Eastern Time. Have a good night, everyone.